You are listening to the SDSU Football Podcast, presented by the East Village Times, with your hosts Andre Hagverdian and Paul Garrison. Welcome, listeners, to another episode of the SDSU Football Podcast. I am your host, Andre Hagverdian. We'll be joined by my co-host, Paul Garrison, shortly. Today's episode is a special one. Paul and I had a chance to chat with Ezra Christensen, who is a defensive lineman at San Diego Mesa Community College currently, but is in the middle of JUCO transfer recruiting to decide where he will play his final 2 years of college football. San Diego State is obviously a big part of that as they are recruiting him. They have made him an offer. As you will hear from Ezra during the interview, San Diego State is one of his top choices under consideration, and a decision should be made sometime in the next week before official signing day or on official signing day on February 1st. Obviously, Ezra has not made his decision yet, but it was really a good opportunity to get to know him, his background, incredible story about how he ended up in the United States and San Diego specifically, what kind of football player he is and what's important to him and his family as he makes his decision. So it was a great interview, and I'm sure you guys will enjoy it. We want to welcome Ezra Christensen to the SDSU Football Podcast. How are you doing tonight, man?
Doing good. How are y'all?
We're doing well. Very well, thank you.
You currently play defensive line at San Diego Mesa College, but before we get into kind of current situation, I think you're originally from Sierra Leone. I read a little bit about your background, how you ended up coming to San Diego, an amazing story. Can you tell us a little bit about living in a West African orphanage and then getting adopted and how all that came about?
Yeah, so I grew up in Sierra Leone, obviously. I lived most of my life over there. I played soccer for about 13, 14 years over there. My family here originally moved to Sierra Leone a couple years ago to adopt a couple of my brothers and sisters now. And so they went back like 2012. That's when they started an orphanage over there, helping kids and helping families here go over there, see kids and help them to get a better life, basically, and so that's where she met me, there in the orphanage, and so fostered me over there for a while, and then finally in 2018 I was able to move to the United States, where I moved to San Diego right away. I started going to Poway High School, played soccer there for about a year and a half. And then my mom put me into the football team basically. But I didn't really know anything about football, nothing at all. Obviously, you probably read a couple of articles online, but didn't really know much about football, didn't really know exactly what I was doing. And so a coach came up to me and asked, like, "Hey, man, what are you doing? What position do you think you're gonna play?" And I just looked at him, confused, like, "What are you talking about? I don't know what's going on. I really don't." And then so when I looked around, the first person I saw was the quarterback, and I said, "Yeah, I wanna do what he was doing." I didn't even know it was called a quarterback, and so he was like, "Yeah, let's get you here first, and let's put you here." So that was with the running backs and the linebackers, and so to play a linebacker, you have to be intelligent up there. You have to be a little smart to call plays and know what you're doing. And I'm there standing, not knowing exactly what's going on. Coaches telling me a couple plays to go tell the other players, and I'm just like, yeah, it's not gonna work. But on the other hand, to put me on running back, he just handed me the ball. He said, "Run this gap, run that gap," and so I was able to learn a little bit my sophomore year, which I really didn't play at all. just because I didn't learn much. Obviously, it's all about the fun and all of that. And so I think some of those coaches didn't get it at that point. It's just they always wanted to win and whatever. I mean, everybody wants to win, but at the end of the day, the players need to have fun. Junior year, that's when really everything kind of kicked off. Started playing again. The head coach told me before the season started, "Hey man, we're gonna put you in JV so you can learn more, and then once you're ready, we pull you up to varsity." So I ended up playing 3 games in JV. Somebody got hurt in varsity, so they pulled me up. But some of the other coaches have seen improvements from my sophomore year to the junior year. They've seen my improvement, and they finally pulled me up. End up starting the rest of the 7 games and had like 7 sacks that year. It was amazing. And so my senior year, I was projected to really come out and be one of the top players in the league, in the Polymer League.
Mm-hmm.
And COVID hit. That kind of really shut me out. I didn't really know much. I didn't know if I wanted to play football anymore. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know exactly what was happening, And so my family, because they didn't really know much about football until I started playing, talking to me about, hey, what are you gonna do? Like, you don't know what you want. You don't know what you're doing for school. Like, what do you want, man? Because you're not gonna sit at home, not do anything, not have a job,
Yep.
And yeah, I told them I don't know. And then so they looked it up. They saw San Diego Mesa. It was like, oh well, there's a 2-year school that you can go to school and then you can transfer to another program and walk on there, And I'm like, what are you talking about? And it was like, well, you can go to a 2-year school and get a degree and then be able to work until you can pay for whatever program you're going to go get another degree so you can get a better job.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there, I was like, okay, I guess this is where I start. Football is over for me. One of the coaches at San Diego Mesa called me and he's like, man, we love your film. We are one of your games. We love what you do. We think you can come here at our program and be a direct impact and help our team. I'm like, stop joking, man. I'm like, what? Yeah, because I didn't even know what JUCO was, what junior college was, And so I was like, stop playing with me, man, because I obviously wanted to play football like for a while, and I had 1 year to play, and my senior year the season got canceled and nothing. I was all stressed out, not knowing exactly what I want to do, And so finally I got in the program and it was only up from there. Like the coaches helped me improve. They helped my football IQ and had a really good freshman year. Not the year I wanted, Obviously I had goals over there. Go in and get honorable mentions, be able to set some specific stats level, but obviously there's injuries and there's like stuff happen, I was in football ready, you know what I'm saying? Where I can really like understand what is actually going on the field. And so that kind of slowed down my playing style for a while. But once it kicked up, then it was only really up. And so my sophomore year came, I really had my goals going into my sophomore year. I knew I wanted to get honorable mentions. I want to get top sack leader in the JUCO of California, And so I went there and really worked my butt off and just that's kind of where everything kind of kicked off. And here I am now with a couple, like 19 plus offers.
So you've been playing football for less
2
than
years.
5 years.
Well, 3 years, but 3 years now. So I played 1 year of high school and then 2 years junior college, if you would say. Well, plus the 5 games we had, like a bonus 5 games we had during the spring,
right?
My senior year. So 3.5 years.
Yeah, we're really, part of the reason why we have you on this podcast is because San Diego State is one of those schools that's recruiting you. But, I want to go back and just talk a little bit about that process of moving, living in, West Africa, and then suddenly, moving across the world to San Diego, California, and what kind of like monumental shift that was for you at your age to do something like that.
I really like Andre's question because I'm from San Diego, but I'm from like right by the border. And culturally, Poway seems crazy to me.
Yeah. So what was your question?
So what was it like for you? What was it like for you making that transition?
Crazy.
That
it was absolutely crazy. That's the word I'd use. Because first of all, moving from West Africa and coming to Poway in general, like it got really overwhelming sometimes that my parents almost homeschooled me. Seeing that much white people and seeing that much. I mean, I was always fascinated by like, when they would go over like, oh, like three or four, like, oh wow, But coming to a school like 5,000 kids and like half the population is like white, and then seeing the amount of cars I saw like when I moved here, it was insane. I mean, it was really, I mean, it was a whole culture shock. I took it in great, like in great. I had friends that welcomed me well, in a way that it didn't get as overwhelming as I would expect. But yeah, it did get a little overwhelming.
Did you say that your parents founded an orphanage in Sierra Leone?
Yeah, so yeah, my parents did start an orphanage in Sierra Leone where they helped kids over there
Is
for years.
is that ongoing? And is there any way like any of our listeners could maybe support that work?
Yes, the orphanage is still there. I'm planning to go back before I started school again here. Planning to go back and visit my family over there,
Hmm,
and see a couple friends that I haven't seen in years, and just go see the kids there. Yeah.
incredible. Now, you mentioned already that you have 22, and then you said plus, so maybe there's more that we don't that's not out there yet. But take us through your current recruiting process and where SDSU fits into the schools you're considering.
So it's let's choose my top three right now. They're my top, yeah. Say top two if that makes sense. They're top two, great school. Love Coach Hoke and what they do over there. Recruiting in general have been going on really good. It's a really overwhelming process. Really, I'm not complaining though, but it's been really. I've been blessed to be in this situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you would have told me a year and a half ago that I would have 20 offers, I would probably think you're going mad, or you're going mental. But sitting here right now with this amount of opportunity, and it's a blessing for real. It's a blessing, and yeah, SDSU. That's one of the offers I've been waiting for. Like since I started going to junior college, ever since I knew about what Division 1 schools are, and that I didn't know until my freshman year of junior college. I didn't know those schools existed until my freshman year of junior college. Coach Watkins really is like, you have your highlight? Like, what is that? Like, man, when you play, you have to create your highlight. And those highlight,
Incredible.
that's what gets you to another level. That's what get other coaches to come see you from Division 1 level. I was like, first of all, you have to break that down. What is a Division 1 school? Like, why are you coming to junior
Awesome.
college, man? It's amazing. It's
It
amazing.
is.
He really did help me. Anybody that's out there, high school kids that's listening to this, you don't have that opportunity to go to a Division 1 school right after high school. San Diego Mesa, you need to go there and check those guys out. They really helped me. He's not just a coach who just wants to win and wants to. He cares about the players. I mean, shit. I sorry for my. I got
Okay.
There's one thing playing football. There's another thing comes with that. That's the mental side of it. She get injured, or you got family stuff going, or you got this little rah-rah stuff going around. You get all in your head, and that affects your game on the field. And so, I mean, at least every player that played football has gone through those moments. He's there for you. He really was there for me when I needed him the most, and that's really it says a lot about who he is as a coach and as a person. And so I'm forever grateful to that guy. He's really, if it wasn't him, I wouldn't be in the position I am today. So yeah.
Last weekend you took an official visit to San Diego State. Who was your player host, and what were some of the highlights of that visit?
Trey White. I've known Trey around San Diego for a while. Great guy. It was a blast. I had fun. I had fun. Obviously, I'm a San Diego kid, but I don't really go out, you know. the way I'm supposed to, or the way I should be socializing with other people. I don't do that as much. It's because I just have a lot of stuff going on, school, getting that done as soon as possible, and I've never been used to that growing up from Africa and coming here. I've never been used to all that stuff. So, but yeah, Trey White is a great dude, great friend of mine. Um, Showed me around campus, showed me around some awesome people, met some of the other players. It was a great experience.
I think I saw somewhere on Twitter that you took a visit to another school this week. What other visits do you have or you have planned?
I took a visit to Fresno State this week.
Got it.
Yeah, I took a visit to Fresno State, and I have a visit tomorrow with San Jose.
And you mentioned earlier that San Diego State in your top three, top two. Are you willing to share who those teams are alongside San Diego State?
I would say the three Mountain West schools are my top three at the moment, just because they're home, California. Anybody would want to stay in their hometown or in the state and play football, And plus, I don't do good with the cold, so yeah, you see with that, I don't do good with the cold, man. So,
One of the things about San Diego State, obviously you're a defensive lineman. They've had some coaching changes on the defensive line. Coach Enna moved on to BYU. There's
yeah.
reports of San Diego State hiring a new coach, although the school has not made anything official. Does that impact your decision at all in terms of the coach who left, coaches coming in, things like that?
Well, at first it did because I didn't really know what happened or what. I mean, I didn't know. No one reached out whatsoever.
Yeah.
But then I found out what happened because Coach Anna had family in BYU, obviously, wife, best friends with the head coach from high school, was actually roommates. So it made sense for him to go closer to family and all of that. And obviously, there's no bad blood with that. That doesn't really change the way I feel about San Diego State or whatsoever, because I know that's the game, recruiting. So one moment you're here, the other moment you're somewhere else. And so I absolutely love the new one that's coming in. I had a great talk with him a couple of days ago. So yeah, we'll see.
Awesome.
You mentioned being a San Diego kid, man. Did you get a chance to visit Snapdragon this season? And if so, what
I
were your
love it.
impressions?
I love it out there. I love it out there. The atmosphere over there is insane. My first time there was against Hawaii. Yeah, it was one of my dad's workmates. Was supposed to go to the game, but he didn't go. So he asked me if I wanted to go. I was like, yeah, absolutely. And I had the best seats in there, and yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. But then I went back when I went to the visit. I went over there. It was great. It was great just walking around and just seeing the new stadium and what they had in there. So yeah.
So when do you plan on making your decision, and what are some of the things that you think it'll ultimately come down to?
I will be signing this signing day.
Okay.
So yeah, I will be signing this signing day. I still have to go visit San Jose, and then I'm coming back home with my family, and we're sitting and talking about all my options and what it comes down to, the best of the best, or what's going to fit me better, and how is that going to look like.
Will you be doing any kind of announcement, special or video, at San Diego Mesa, or will it be just you're posting it online?
I would love to go in and do. I would love to. I'm not really that type of person to like, oh, I'm going here whatsoever. Like, social media. I'm not really big on that. Um, I will definitely love to go back to San Diego Mesa because that's where it all started. Um, that's my family. That's who I owe it to. That's who got me to this position I am today. So yeah, I'd love to go back to San Diego Mesa, be able to sign those papers there and take pictures with Coach Watkins and really like see that smile in his face and tell him I appreciate everything he did for me, and that's what it got me. So yeah.
Are you currently enrolled in school in San Diego Mesa? And then
I'm still enrolled taking my last classes this winter session classes. I was doing class before Coach Hoke and Coach Maddox came over. But yeah, I'm finishing my classes right now.
So you'll enroll with whatever school you choose. You'll probably enroll in the summer.
Well, I have the option to go in, and so like if I was to go to, I have the option to go in and be able to participate in a couple of stuff. So like let's say I'd go in, sit in the meetings, and be able to get a head start of what it looks like, the playbook and whatsoever. But I can't practice or work out with the team at all. Be able to go there and just stand and watch and see everything that's going on though.
A lot in recruiting, there's a lot of teammates that, make decisions together or help each other. You have a Mesa teammate, Antoine Sullivan, wide receiver. He committed to Fresno State,
Correct.
which is one of the teams in your top three, as you mentioned. Has any impact on his decision have on yours?
Right now, it's just all on where the biggest thing for me is education. Obviously, I would love to play with one of my teammates, but when it comes to education, I want to get the best education that I can get. And coming from Africa, I didn't have the best education at all. So my mom has always been helping me with stuff that I don't understand, or like certain things that I don't get. And so like I said, it comes down to what we sit and talk about education wise, where it's gonna what's that gonna look like, and how's that gonna fit my playing style wherever it is. So go I would love to go back and play with Antoine, but as of now that has nothing to do with my decision, and yeah.
So you mentioned your game, man. For people who haven't seen you play, how would you describe it?
I am very physical, very physical. My explosiveness, really, my leverage has everything to help with my playing style, and what fits better in most of this defense that are recruiting me for. So especially for SDSU, the way they were using Jonah Tavai and how they move him around, that they use his athleticism to work couple stunts and couple movement that helped them in the past years, and what helped them as a player as well. I feel like I have those tools, and if not better, if not close to him, probably better, because my explosiveness is if you guys have seen my highlight, you've seen I have
No
some really
doubt.
good explosive um, clips there that really can be a distraction to couple any offensive line I go against. And so I feel like with the right coaching and the time I put in, I feel like it can be it can be really deadly. And with my strength, combine all of those and with technique and the right coaching, yeah, it'll come out to be really destructive to any team I play against.
Oh no, you just mentioned coaching. SDSU is one of the most unique coaching dynamics because their head coach also works hand in hand with the defensive
With the D
line.
line, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's something I was talking to him about tonight. We had to go through that and all that. Yeah.
So I mean, the opportunity to get coached by somebody with Coach Hoke's resume. I mean, just how does that sit with you? How does that resonate with you?
It definitely is really intriguing. Definitely is really, it's amazing to see the amount of players he has coached, the amount of people he's gone hand in hand with that are being successful now. And that's something I want to be around, that somebody I want to help me prepare me for the next level, basically. You know what I'm saying? He's got some unbelievable coaching style that I like, and like the visit, I went back and watched film with him. Everything he had to say was just amazing. His coaching style, who he has coached, what he showed me on film, how he showed me everything. He just broke everything down to the way I can understand, and I can go and play.
You mentioned Jonah Tavai earlier. He's kind of a prime example of a JUCO transfer defensive lineman. turned All-American, not just in Division I, but at San Diego State. So there is, that example out there that of something San Diego State can do for something for you to think about, obviously. Last set of questions before we let you go. We appreciate you taking the time, obviously. We have some fun rapid-fire questions to get our listeners to get to know you a little bit better. You ready for those?
Sure, yeah.
What's your favorite food?
I'm African. I have to go with my African foods, of course. So I've said the Sierra Leone fried rice. It's called jollof rice, but it's more like fried rice.
Is there a good Sierra Leone food restaurant?
This is the right question.
So
this is the right question.
I am half Nigerian. So there's a really good Nigerian place down in San Diego that I do go to. Yes.
You remember what it's called?
It's called Abule.
Okay.
Yeah, it's by National Avenue, somewhere around that. Yeah.
Down in my neck of the woods.
Favorite movie or TV show?
Oh, we have to go Home Alone. It's my favorite movie all time.
Nice.
Great answer.
Yeah.
When did you first see Home Alone?
Man, I used to see Home Alone every Christmas, first of all. And so we have those DVDs.
Sure.
And all of our little like CD players were all kind of scratchy, and Home Alone was kind of the one that was not scratchy or whatsoever, and we would watch that over and over and over again. And man, I've never seen that movie like that. It's my favorite.
Awesome.
I've seen so many times, but it doesn't get old.
No, it does not.
And I could probably I probably know every single line at that movie at this point.
That's awesome. I have 4 kids, and this was the first year that we all sat down and watched it.
Oh
and
man,
it's all the different parts are on everybody's lips in my household right now. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
What about favorite musical artist or group?
I'm an all-around kind of guy. I listen to anything, man. I don't really. It doesn't really matter what it is. I listen to anything, and don't be coming at me talking about country music. Yes, I do listen to country music. If that's what
that was going to be the next question. Yep, you stole it. Yep.
He's heard that one before, probably.
Yeah. I listen to when I need to. Yes, I do listen to it.
All right. Who's your country music connection?
Sure. I don't really have that connection, but
okay.
You gotta, I just had to listen. I mean, there's a couple that you can turn on that I'll listen to. There's a couple that's a no, but yeah, I think Morgan Wallen is up there.
What about favorite professional athlete?
Aaron Donald by far.
Not a bad guy to have a favorite athlete, for sure.
Nah, Aaron Donald, man.
Favorite hobby when you're not playing football? What do you like to do?
Shoot, that's a good question. I mean, I'm really good. I'm good at pool, so I'll say. I mean, I don't know how often I do it, but I play pool on a regular basis. I do play a couple. I do play video games here and there, but I haven't been able to in the past couple months, doing school and all this recruiting visit. But yeah, I do play video games and spend some quality time with friends, if you say.
Yeah, and then last one, you mentioned education is very important for you. What are you studying right now at Mesa, and what are you hoping to finish up degree-wise in your next college of choice?
I'm currently studying kinesiology.
Okay.
I am moving back on and continuing that major at wherever it is.
Awesome. Great job. We want to thank you. We know this is a really hectic, stressful, busy time for you. You have a big decision to make. Sometime, signing day is 6 days away, I believe. So we appreciate you at least hopping on and talking to us and giving us a little look into your process. And, whether it's San Diego State or if it's another Mountain West team, you're a San Diego kid, and we're definitely going to look and root you on and see where you go.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys for having me here.
Thank you. Have a good night. All right, Paul, that was a chat with Ezra Christensen, a potential San Diego State player for next year. As he told us, he's got a top 3 between obviously including San Diego State and 2 other Mountain West teams. I guess the first thing before we talk about the football side is his story.
Yeah, man.
And how he ended up coming to Poway and San Diego is pretty incredible.
Beyond incredible. I mean, you asked that first question, and I think it could be a record for like the most thorough answer that we've gotten. And it's exactly what we hoped for. So Ezra, you listen to this, man. It's what we wanted. It was so good.
He basically answered our first 5 questions.
He did. It was great. I was just like, okay, I had that question. Yes, I had that question. Yeah, it was so insightful and so good. And I think he's a good storyteller. His ability to just take you back to, those moments where the coach is like, what position do you want to play? And he's like, the guy who throws the ball. I didn't even know what the name of the quarterback was. They put me at running back and linebacker. And linebacker, you got to know what you're doing. And I had no clue. He says, I could run through the gaps. I could do that as a running back. I don't know if everyone could catch that. He decided that at the tail end of an in-home visit with Coach Hoke and Coach Maddox that he was going to come on to this interview, right? Going from what he was talking about at the beginning of the story to the fact that those men would be in his house talking to his parents, trying to convince him to be a D1 recruit and to say no to the other 19 schools that are recruiting him. It's amazing. It's absolutely incredible. And truthfully, we've been over this. Whatever a kid and his family decide is the right thing for him to do in their future, more power to him. You know what I mean? And so yes, we cover San Diego State sports, but we don't want to steer anybody in any direction. That's not the goal or the purpose. It's to provide a newsworthy story. And I'm really happy that we were able to talk with him because obviously, going down the road, if he does decide that Fresno State's a better place, or he does decide that San Jose State or somebody else jumps in before signing day and is able to have that conversation, we wouldn't talk to him. We just wouldn't have that opportunity because we focus on the Aztecs and the kids who are great in the program. And so just that we got this opportunity, I'm really happy because I was absolutely just blown away by his story. So good.
San Diego Mesa College isn't a college that we see a lot of scholarship offers go to, just because it's not one of the higher end JUCO junior colleges, but they have quite a program going over there. We mentioned during the interview, Antoine Sullivan's committed to Fresno State. There's been other guys. I mean, obviously Ezra getting his 20 offers. They're building something there, and it's going to be interesting to see after this period who's next on that squad. But with Ezra, the coaching staff obviously loves him. They want him. Talking about San Diego State, he could fill a role, obviously, on the team. We've talked at length about they need to replace all three defensive line starters. They brought in other JUCO guys. They have true freshmen. They've got redshirt freshmen and sophomores. So that room is elevating, and the competition is going to be fierce. And I think Ezra will be part of that if he chooses to come to San Diego State. And I think he mentioned education is important. They're all, Mountain West schools, Cal State schools. So it's not like we're talking about a top 5 university versus a bottom 5 university in terms of education. And I think he's going to have to make that decision with himself and his family of where what school and what team he feels the best is going to develop in and turn him into the player he wants. And playing time is always a concern, especially for a JUCO guy that doesn't have 4 years to play. He's got 2 years to play and 1 redshirt year potentially. So a lot for him to think about. It's a stressful time, I'm sure. As we greatly appreciate that he took some time out of his busy schedule and night to come talk to us and give us some insight into his decision making.
I agree, and I think just going back to his play on the field, I don't think it's challenging to see why he has 20 offers. You watch him play, and he has power, he has speed. He was used in multiple formations, multiple ways at Mesa, sometimes standing up, and you just can see why he would be so coveted. And then you go back to the idea that he is still so new to football and what that can mean because I mean the other piece of it is like, there are things that I'm new to and I can't learn them, right? And I
Yeah.
can't become good at them. He's not only new, but he goes from being somebody who like has to be a JV guy in his 11th grade year of high school, right? Who only gets a chance at the varsity because of an injury, then jumps onto the scene, steps up 7 sacks that junior season. He's now going to like get some momentum going forward. And then like so much of life, COVID stops it, right? He gets the abbreviated season and then he's going to call it quits. He's done. He's done. People, and it's just, it just goes to show, the job I think that like older people have in educating people who are younger, right? How many times did his story go, oh, I was having a conversation and they told me there's this thing called junior college and you can play
Yeah.
football there and then you can go walk on at a university. He's like, what are you talking about? Like, okay, so and then he's at Mesa and then his coach has to say, well, there's these, you're going to transfer and you're going to Division One. He goes, wait, break this down. What is a Division One school? And he's like, why are you at Mesa? Like, what are you doing here? And it's because he loves football, and again, to see how good he is like now, and then to think about just, the exponential growth that he's already shown. And if he can stay on that path, with his background, with his story, it's just, you can see the potential and you can see why so many people would want to do that and wanted to bring him into their program. And I think for the Aztecs, the fit is very, very clear. It is very clear, but I think there's also a very strong culture fit there as well. Somebody who wants to work, somebody who sees the goal that's in front of them and is just ready to go be about that. I think that, one of the most challenging things with young people is to give them a perspective that typically only like time, right, or life experience can bring you. I remember talking with Dave Velasquez of the basketball team, just talking about, trying to get some insight into the privilege of being a Division I athlete and all the things that go along with it. And his response was, yeah, it's hard. It's hard to get kids to realize like what's in front of them because you just don't have it to explain about, right? But imagine Ezra in the locker room. The joy and the gratitude that just comes across in a little interview like this and how contagious that can be in appreciating what's in front of him. And I think that's a really vital thing, especially, as more and more articles and more things come out stating what seems to be the obvious thing, and that San Diego State is going to be moving to a power conference. And, the most dangerous part about that is losing that identity, losing that drive, and somebody like Ezra can keep them, very much anchored in who they want to be and the kind of kids that they want to have in their program.
Yeah, imagine a locker room with Ezra and Joseph Hall.
Right. Yeah, no, exactly. Good point.
Why we do what we do with this podcast and with our feature articles is helping players tell their story. And every player has a story, whether they're an All-American or they're a walk-on 112th player on the team. I didn't think Joseph Hall's story could be topped.
Mm-hmm.
But
Good point.
Story, being in an orphanage and getting adopted in West Africa and coming all the way to Poway, California, and learning how to play football, that's a great story. If he becomes an Aztec, I think that story should be highlighted all across radio stations, TV stations, all across San Diego. Regardless, he's still a San Diego guy.
I was going to say, if he comes and plays, comes and plays, comes to visit, because obviously San Jose State and Fresno State is in there.
Yeah, it's those two stories obviously jump out from the last 10 days or so that we've done. It would be great. And, he's got a decision to make for himself. February 1st, sounds like we probably won't know until that day. We'll see. He's got his visit this weekend at San Jose State. And we will impatiently wait for his decision.
I think that's great. And, best of luck and those conversations. But as stressful as it is, it's so special. I mean, it's absolutely just remarkable what's there. you just wish Ezra the best, and whatever that turns into, for sure.
That's going to do it for us, guys. Thank you for listening on this special episode. We wanted to get this episode out right away, so you can, Aztec fans can have kind of an insight on Ezra's, process and recruiting and where he stands and when he expects to make a decision. So appreciate you guys listening, and we'll talk next time. You are listening to the SDSU Football Podcast, presented by the East Village Times, with your hosts Andre Hagverdian and Paul Garrison.